Considering you have a good relationship with CBS Paramount, why are there only 3 episodes left in the series?
Well, that's a sad question, an unfortunate reality. CBS has always been very, very gracious to fan films, allowing them to exist and share their love of Star Trek under one very clear condition, and that is you're not allowed to profit personally. You're not allowed to make money from somebody else's property, and everybody pretty much understands that. Makes sense. But a couple of years ago, another production came along, and they raised a lot of money under the guise of planning to make a Star Trek feature film. And not only was the film never made, but they profited personally off of it. They paid themselves salaries. They started rented a building that they were planning to rent out to other productions for profit, and flew around the world promoting a movie that didn't exist, and just spent the money on other things besides that for which the fans gave it. And when that line was crossed after all these years and many different productions, CBS basically said, you know what? Enough is enough. We've got to step in here and protect our license. And so they filed a lawsuit against that production. And what came out of that lawsuit were some fan film guidelines. Unfortunately, even though we were not the culprits and we're not the subject of that, and neither were, all of the other productions, these guidelines basically made it pretty clear that, we probably were going to have to finish it up sooner rather than later. The good news was that we had already raised the money to shoot our last few episodes. We had originally planned on doing 13. We had enough money donated from fans to do 3 more. So that's what we decided to do. We are our nonprofit C3, a 501c3 official nonprofit. We're the only Star Trek production out there that is. And so given the fact that we are an official nonprofit, given the fact that the money was already donated before the guidelines were in place, given the fact that we had always intended to finish the series, we weren't just going to do it, ad nauseum forever. We had always had an end in sight. So we just kicked into high gear to finish up the episodes that we had been funded for, and our intention is to release our last few episodes this year and be done. But the good news is that we've actually done what we had set out to do, what we were funded by the fans to do. We have always and continue to use what was donated for exactly the purpose that it was donated. And we are very optimistic that we're going to be able to finish and release our last few episodes all this year. But that's why we're stopping, and that's why we're doing 11 instead of 13. It's unfortunate. It's very sad. A lot of people are having to pay for the mistakes that were made, but at least we're getting to finish the series.